Wonderful. Hi, Scott. Jeremy Nixon. I represent.
A little closer to your mouth.
Sure thing. I'm Jeremy Nixon. I founded the sequence of AGI houses, which represent a tremendous number of founders and open source developers who mostly create side projects on the weekend, some of which involve fine tuning, some of which power companies that end up raising a tremendous amount of money. There's a sense in the community that in the end, we have a big question: will open source models be allowed or not? And if I can kind of try to skip to the end of what happens after all of our back and forth deliberation, given that you're genuine about your intentions with the changes that you have in mind, the question I have is, assume that we have identical hazardous capabilities between state-of-the-art open source models and state-of-the-art closed source models, which I claim is currently more or less the case given the jailbreaking regime that has afflicted Claude 3 and GPT-4 and really every major closed source SOTA model. And if that continues to be the case, the big question is, can Meta release Llama 4 or Llama 3 400B and expect to not be sued by the Attorney General or otherwise punished, because open source is essential to privacy. Lawyers who have agreements with their clients to maintain privilege, doctors who want to make sure they're not exposing their patients' data to Microsoft, to OpenAI, to Google, to Anthropic, depend on these open source models. And so if open source is not state of the art, doctors will not be able to give state-of-the-art medical care to their patients, and lawyers will not be able to give high-quality feedback to their clients. And so our question is, in the long run, assuming that hazardous capability is a wash because every model is jailbreakable, what will you do?
So, like I said, our intention, is we're not against open source, not trying to shut down open source. It's just it's about the testing, and Meta is certainly Meta, as I understand it, says that they are testing their LLM. That's my understanding. That's what I've seen them say, and so that's what they have to do. And so that the bill doesn't stop them from open sourcing it. And Meta, frankly, is in a better position than a smaller developer to do that testing. And so that's what we're asking of them, not to try to stop them from open sourcing their model. If you want to add anything.
Yeah, I think the other thing that I'd add here is, I think you bring up a really good point that these are challenges that are not solved on either the closed or open source side, right? So I don't think that this is fundamentally a question about specifically open sourcing models. I think that, as everyone acknowledges, there are a bunch of really important open research questions, and luckily we still have time, right? I don't think the next generation of models is going to have anything like these extreme hazardous capabilities, and I think that the kind of opportunity is for these large developers, whether they are closed sourcing or open sourcing their models, to continue investing in precautions that make it actually reasonable to deploy these models in a way that is going to be safe. And that's true whether they're closed sourcing or open sourcing their models. And I think that that's true no matter what the developer is doing.